All right, guys, welcome back to the Pulse of Willie and Al. How's it going today, brother?
Going, man, it's going. We had like a week straight of rain here. It was like monsoon season, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's it's 75, sunny. Can't really complain.
Yeah, man, that's the
So
weather we're getting here, and I'll tell you,
yeah,
it's very enjoyable. Until it's not, right? Until it's too hot, but
yeah,
it's getting good, man. So no complaints right now, man. School year's almost
yeah.
over, and
By the by the time it gets really hot in Turkey, you, sir, are going to be back in the good old U.S. of A.
hey, don't tell too many people. They'll be out to get me.
Hey,
So, but yes,
yeah.
I will be. So, before we jump into episode 78, just wanted to give a little shout out. I know we weren't here last week. That's because some bonehead on the show forgot his keys. Um, so that happens. But I just wanted to just say thank you. The previous episode we did, episode 77, Scott's in Heaven. We gave a little shout out on there about a link and a gentleman, Scott Pacino, that really had quite a big impact on baseball in general, and a lot of current players, former players that exist, and stars in the game. But I had mentioned that his son had a website that he was running for a nonprofit organization, and I just wanted to say I'm not certain it was completely because of our show. I'd like to think that, but I know it's not. But the amount that went up within just that period of time, we're talking close to $20,000, and I really think
All
that's
right.
I really think that's an awesome thing to be
Yeah.
to be donating to. It goes all to cancer research, so there's nothing being taken by anyone on that. I just think it's a wonderful thing and a great way to kind of keep his spirit alive. Read a couple good articles about Scott, by the way, that I got to send your way, but. Of just GMs, front offices really commending the way this guy went about his business when it came to players, and they made him synonymous with a guy that is really about the player first. So
Yeah.
it made me kind of think of Jerry Maguire a little bit, but it really was a cool thing. But I just wanted to give a little shout out and say thank you for that, because it is important, and I know it's going to make a difference for someone's life in the future. Today, we're going to touch a little bit on some storylines in Major League Baseball, and then tap into the NFL a little bit. So let's get cooking with some Major League Baseball, man. This is huge disappointing news to you. The Rockies fire Bud Black. And listen, it just, he, by the way, was the winningest coach in Rockies history, which is nuts. But I just want to know, because I feel like this is going to ruin things for you for this baseball season now, because you were really hoping for them to break the record.
Yeah, we're still full steam ahead on that.
Okay.
They have just sucked even worse since.
Well, they almost threw a no
Well,
hitter the other day against Texas.
yeah, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while.
Yeah, true.
I think the funniest thing about that is they fired him after they lost a game 21 to nothing,
Yeah,
which is just
it was
chef's gift of futility.
it was funny before that when they said, "Oh no, we believe in him. We're gonna stick with him." And then I can't even believe I'm laughing. This gentleman lost his job and stuff. I hope he lands on his feet somewhere. But very ironic that they say, "Oh no, we're sticking with him. He's our guy. Like we're committed. The guys are gonna get this figured out." Next day, fired. So
Yeah.
after the 21 zip blanking, which is just, that was rough. But you still think futility is still in the
Oh,
cards?
1000% in
Okay.
play.
All right.
'Cause, it doesn't really matter who manages this team. They're still just ass.
Yeah.
Like straight up ass.
My Braves just snagged a few games, but one of the Rockies wins this year is against the Braves. So,
Sure.
doesn't feel good.
Again, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
True. Very true.
Also, fun Colorado Rockies manager fact. All of the managers they've ever had do not have career winning records with the team.
Wow.
That's this team has been around since 1993.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I remember the days with Galarraga, Bichette, Larry Walker,
Yeah.
Vinny Castilla. Dude, whew, they had a squad there, man. Four guys back then that could hit 30 home runs apiece at least. That they were a dangerous team when it came to
The
hitting.
close the closest they ever had was a guy who managed for 3 years for him, Jim Tracy, from '09 to 2012. Career winning percentage with him of 488. That's the closest anybody's
Oh
gotten.
man, so close. Maybe they bring
Yeah.
him back. Maybe they bring him
Yeah.
back, right?
Maybe.
Okay. So where do they go from here, man? Because I know you're saying like futility's still in the cards, but at the same time, they need to think about the next steps. What do you think are going to be the next logical steps for them going forward?
I mean, they're already kind of cleaning house. Hopefully, they just kind of get a GM that just kind of knows. Like Colorado historically, just they have some guys that they've drafted over the years that are well, but like never can either hold on to them or they just get injured. So this seems like this is a complete teardown and rebuild, and I think this is going to be kind of rough for them for a couple of years before they kind of get their shit together. So
I wonder too if like I think the Walmart family owns the Broncos, right? Now they ended
the
up with
Waltons, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So maybe they decide to dip into that and change things because they've done a good job with the Broncos in terms of turning things around there and kind of I mean they
yeah.
hired the right coach who's putting his guys in there. Maybe they can figure that out. And I know it works differently in baseball, but maybe they're able to get someone in there that can really put two and two together and figure this thing out for them. Because it's too bad to see them in the condition that they're currently in. Let's move on. So, Aaron Judge, your guy, right?
Yeah.
He's still hitting over 400 and a decent amount too, right? I think he was at 417 after last night's games. He leads the league not only in batting average but home runs, hits, and RBIs, which is just crazy, man, to see it. I mean, he's figuring it out. So I just want to ask you, like, what do you think about this? And I know it can't be fun with him being in the same division, but what's it like to be watching something like this? Because we're watching history.
Yeah, he since his age 30 season, like he is just putting up numbers. Since he turned 30, in the seasons he's played, he hit 62 home runs. The year after 2023, he had some injuries, only hit 37 home runs.
Only.
Only. Then last year hit 58 home runs. And this year he's played 41 games, has hit 14 already. So yeah, yeah. I don't really. There isn't really much to say. Like considering this lineup is like not as good as last year's lineup because they
Mhm.
had Soto last year, obviously. But the fact that he's still getting this done is kind of impressive because he's their best hitter, and it's not even close.
No, it's not. I mean, what Goldschmidt's not far behind him, but
Yeah,
still,
Goldschmidt's off to a hot start, but he's also 37 years old. Like
yeah,
that's not gonna last.
right. Yeah, it's just really neat to be able to see that. Maybe who knows? Maybe this summer we can get Uncle Raj to weigh in on what he thinks about Mr. Judge. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure he's got some
Well,
thoughts.
yeah, I'm sure he has thoughts about a lot of things, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear all of them.
Well, if you know him, you know you're going to find out about him. So,
Yeah.
uh, do you want to talk about the Motor City Kitties coming to Boston? I mean, is it too soon or?
No, it's fine. The game I watched a bunch of the game last night.
Mhm.
The Tigers were up 2-0 after 5 pitches. Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of game it was last night.
Yeah.
Was it great? Yeah, it's kind of a microcosm of the Red Sox season. We can never be consistent with anything.
Mhm.
Some nights our starting pitching blows. A lot of nights it's the bullpen that blows.
Mhm.
Sometimes our lineup can't hit. And then we have a guy like Tristan Casas who's having a really good year go down for the year. And they ask Rafi Devers, hey, maybe you want to play first? And he's like,
Nope.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah. Team player, right? Hey, let me ask you something because I feel like this is coming up, and we're seeing some closers really struggle this year in terms of getting saves. But the bullpen, it shows how important it is, or how much on some of these teams it's ending up tanking their teams because of it. Do you think they're overthinking what's going on with the bullpen now? Like, I don't know. I feel like we grew up in the day of like complete games, and I realize we understand now that that's not the same way baseball is going to be played now. But do you think at some point it's like over managing what's going on?
No, I think because the two closers we're talking about obviously are Classy out of Cleveland and Devin Williams who plays for the Yankees now, and
Yeah,
you look at their numbers and how much they were used in the last few seasons, like that's just wear and tear. And you saw it with Classy last year in the playoffs. He couldn't buy it out to save his life
yeah.
after Cleveland relied on him heavily to like get to that point to win the division and like go to the ALCS. Like and he was like burnt out by the end. And I think you're still seeing kind of the effects of that. So
I mean, even with that, and I bring this up because as well as the Tigers are playing right now, the Guardians and Royals are within 3 games. I mean,
yeah,
and that's with the struggles, right? It's crazy to see. So I feel like that's going to be a really fun division to watch this year, especially when it gets into interdivision play, and you start seeing how they're playing against teams that are, they're fighting for division spots for. Um, but yeah, it just
that
I don't know. It made me think about the bullpen because I feel like the Braves could be better.
Braves the Braves are the gold standard for a bad bullpen play.
It's funny. I saw a thing on Instagram the other day. It was like a little poster of who's the worst at every position in baseball. I don't
Sure.
I don't know how this ended up on my feed, but it did. And of course, I was like, "Oh, I'm scrolling down, scrolling down." I'm like, "Yeah, the Braves don't have anyone on here." Up, Iglesias. And
Yeah.
I was like, they said in the comments, it's not even close. This guy's the worst. So
No.
it just
Yeah, he's so bad.
it had me laughing. But I don't know. The Braves are hovering around 500, man. They are. I told
Yeah,
you.
same with the Red Sox.
I
Yeah,
told you it was. They
yeah.
were going to bridge the gap, and they'll get it figured out. I don't see them being good enough right now to overtake the Phillies or even the Mets right now. But they're hanging in there. They're trying to get stuff figured
Yeah.
out. So, um, and speaking of teams that are kind of figuring out and hovering around 500, you've got the A's, man. And I just think this is such a great story. I know there's a lot of teams right around 500 right now, but they're 1.5 games out in the AL West right now. So
Yeah, there if you look at that team and you watch that team for any sort of length of time, you're just like, I don't understand how they're really doing it. And that what's really happening is like the Oakland A's, it's one of two outcomes most nights. Either they're winning one-run games
mhm.
or they're getting blown out. And there's no in between with them because, like, if you look at their run differential, I think it's like negative 38 right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like, and that tells me that's exactly what that tells you is like they're winning a lot of one-run games
Mhm.
or they're getting blown out. Yeah. So love to see it. Yeah, man. That whole AL West is kind of weird right now. The Angels were red hot for like the first month, and now they are back to where they're supposed to be, which is last place. Shout out Taylor Ward last night though, hit a 2 out, 2 strike grand slam. So
Which is amazing.
yeah. Texas is like kind of being Texas. They can't really figure their pitching out. Houston, again, just doing Houston things, kind of lurking. Everybody's just kind of lurking around 500 in that division. So,
Mhm. Which is
so
that I think that's going to set up for great things later. I really do. I really do.
yeah, the AL West this might be this year the division that legally somebody has to win
Yep.
division.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought that would
we
be the
love we love
case.
that.
Yeah, we
We love that on the show.
it makes it good, right? And there's one
Yeah,
always in every league. There has to be.
yeah, yeah.
Uh anything else you wanted to mention in baseball before we move forward?
Nope, just the slow, inevitable march of just being frustrated with the Red Sox day in
Mhm.
and day out. You know, we're already in mid-May, and it's already reduced my will to live, and it can only get better. So
Is it something you
yeah,
wish was over quick and easy, or do you really want to believe there's a chance all season?
Well, I just like what happens a lot of nights, and I've gotten used to this now, but like what would happen in the beginning of the season is I would go to bed and at like the seventh inning, I'd be like, oh, cool, Sox are up 3. I'm just gonna go to bed. And I'd wake up in the morning, you're like, wow, Sox lost by 4. How'd that happen? Like, and it just seems
Yeah.
like that's a common occurrence in my life. And at first I'd be like, what the fuck? And now I just kind of wake up and I'm like, okay, that
Yeah,
tracks.
that tracks. I that's the team I know. Um,
Or like I'll wake up at like 1 a.m. to go to the bathroom and I'll like check to see if the game's over. And I'll be like, oh, the Sox lost. Okay. And then just go back to sleep. Like,
oh, so
yeah, yeah, it's
disappointing.
good.
So
It's good.
disappointing.
I have nothing to bitch about. I've watched this team win 4 World Series in my lifetime. I can't complain about a thing. I
Yeah.
really can't.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving. Actually, before we move on, the reason we're not mentioning like the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants is because most of that stuff is kind of status quo as it is right now. They're all kind of locked together in a nice race atop the NL West there. But I'm sure hopefully we'll find a little bit more to mention about them in the next few weeks. I
Yeah.
mean, Otani just doing Otani things, and he's awesome.
Shout out Cardinals on a 9-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, that's
Shout out
actually
that.
impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive. So.
Yeah. I was reading this morning actually that word on the street is that even though the Cardinals are like really winning a lot of games, that they're still probably going to trade a bunch of dudes at the deadline. And I love that for them. Love that. Like, so
Yeah, it's
shout out the NL. I was gonna say shout out the NL Central
NL
again.
Central,
That
baby. Yeah,
might be might be the legally somebody has to win this division in the NL. We love that.
it could be, man. We'll
Yeah,
we'll have to see. Again, every week I feel like we get closer and closer, and then overreact and underreact on certain things as we keep moving forward. So,
yeah.
but that time you were talking about, that June, is coming very soon. So
Yeah.
it will be there. It will be there
The
shortly.
one thing that we can't over or underreact about the season is the Colorado Rockies. Again, shout out
Yeah,
to them. Love them. Sitting at
yeah.
7-34 right now. Whew. Losers of 9 out of their last 10.
Man, they're
Love to see
making the
it.
White Sox
Love
look like a playoff
to
team.
see it. Oh man.
All right. Well, let's jump into the NFL. Not too much news, but we got some to be able to cover. First off, Derek Carr retires and kind of
Captain check down.
yeah announces it pretty publicly on Instagram or Twitter, wherever he decided to post it. But many platforms. But he, for those that didn't know, he went through, had ended up missing quite a bit of time last year in the season. Went to have surgery, did not respond well to the surgery, and they're saying that based on the damage to his shoulder, there's a chance that he's probably not going to be able to play football again. So he made the decision to retire. And just kind of your thoughts on it, and I know he's your favorite, so
Uh,
it's
the fact that this guy made $205 million in his career through NFL contracts is absolutely astounds me. Absolutely astounds me. Yeah. I don't. There's not really much else to say other than that. Like he's the modern day Kirk Cousins. Always getting that bag for not doing a lot, and we love that. Love that for him. And I now have to find a new quarterback to direct my hate and ire towards, and we'll find it.
It's Russell Wilson. So he,
Yeah, nah,
or Aaron
nah.
Rodgers if he comes to Pittsburgh, you'll
Oh,
feel
Aaron
it.
Rodgers for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, like with Russell Wilson, he always at least gave us the Broncos country let's ride thing.
Yeah.
And that forever lives rent free in my brain as a thing that makes me giggle.
See,
So
I have a different take on Derek Carr, and it's just my opinion on it, right? Like we don't, I don't think we've ever really seen eye to eye on Derek Carr, but
no,
that's okay.
no,
For me, listen, like I always saw him as like a leader of men, like an
sure.
inspiring guy that like, and that doesn't mean a damn thing when it comes to how well you play football. But I really thought like he was a great leader of a team, and in a time where he had to compete against quarterbacks like Brady and Manning and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and these guys, like he still tried to be competitive during that time. And that one season, I'll never forget it, where he breaks his leg. It was just really sad.
Yeah,
Who knows? They may have gotten beat in the playoffs by New England, and it would have been a moot point anyways. But it just, for me, like, that was sad to see that happen, because I felt like that was the year he really could have got it done, or achieved something big for the Raiders. The one thing that I will say too, that uh, I disliked about his play is he responsible for throwing the picks and making the bad decisions? Absolutely. But I felt like it wasn't a good match with McDaniels and him at all. And it just, for me, that like really hurt me, because I feel like him
Yeah,
and Devontae were able to do it well, even though it was at the college level. Like, both of these guys became pros, they can do it on that level. And I just felt like he just wasn't a good coach there, and it ended up really catapulting that into a bad scenario there between
I
Gruden
agree.
and McDaniel, and then into Pierce, who they didn't really seem to give a fair shake. And like, I don't know, but if you bring in a coach like Sean Payton, or you bring in a coach like even uh I don't know, like the guy that's there now, right? Like, any of the
Oh,
any
Pete Carroll. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Pete Carroll. Jeez, I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, any of those guys, I feel like they could have done a better job with him and with that team. I don't know. Every time that I've seen Josh McDaniels get a head coaching position, he's fumbled the bag, even when he still didn't have a coaching position, right? Like, he accepted the job with the Colts and then bailed out on it. Like, he fumbled that too. Like, it just,
Yeah,
I don't know. It just, I feel like he could have been better under the right coaching and the right tutelage. I really
I
believe
agree.
that.
Yeah,
And some guys never get that chance, right? You could say if woulda, shoulda, coulda, but it didn't happen, right? He's a
yeah.
guy that, as I see him talk about the game means a tremendous amount to him. And the guys that
Oh
played
yeah,
with him seem to speak very highly of this guy, right? As long as their linemen not fighting him on the field about the plays they're running. But
sure.
yeah, it seems like, I don't know. I'm sad to see him go, but in this league where there's so many good quarterbacks, uh, I think it will ease the transition of him leaving, with having so many other guys stepping up, and it gives another guy, a new guy, a chance, which I really think is that's kind of the beautiful part of this league, is when someone goes down, someone else gets a chance, and this should be one of those.
Yeah, and too with him like retiring, that removes a bunch of money off the Saints cap, which
First
they
ballot Hall of Famer,
desperately.
right?
Sure, sure. I don't know. Golly. Uh,
I got to get you riled up on a Tuesday, right? Like, I gotta
I
do
think it's funny is like him and his brother combined, like have made so much fucking money in this league.
his
Like it's
brother,
just
his brother deserves every penny. Do you know why? He got
because
killed in this league.
oh yeah,
He,
yeah.
I don't think anyone in the history of football has gotten hit as many times as that guy has. Like, that guy got hit before all the rules were brought in to protect
Yeah.
quarterbacks. Like,
I also the thing I remember about his brother about David Carr, the QB from the Texans, he always wore his wedding ring, and I just
huh?
kept one of these days, like he's gonna lose his goddamn finger.
Yeah,
Like that's coming clean off.
yeah,
Never
man.
did. Never did.
Never did.
Also,
No.
didn't realize this about David Carr. Has a Super Bowl ring.
Ooh, can I guess?
Yeah, yeah. That's a fun little game. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell? Do you know the year that he won it?
I'll give you the Super Bowl number.
Okay.
Super Bowl 46.
Hmm. Hmm. Nah, oh man, 46, and we're on what now? What Super Bowl are we on now?
I think we're
50,
going on at like 60.
60.
Um,
Really? Okay.
yeah, I will tell you the team that won it was an NFC team.
Hmm. Okay. Did did he win it with the Giants?
He sure did. Yeah.
Holy
Second Giant Super
yes!
Bowl.
Oh my
Winner, winner, chicken
goodness.
dinner.
My goodness, yeah. Tell me it was against the Patriots.
Sure was. Sure was. It was if
Oh,
it was, and I remember this clearly. It was the game where Tom Brady started the game by taking a safety in the end zone.
oh man, that is just, well, I mean, Manning almost did that. It wasn't maybe
Yeah.
the first play, but maybe the second one. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was one of them. Yeah, that's not a good start. And you guys ended up
No,
losing by 1, right? Or 2?
yeah, we lost by like I think like three, four.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Those two losses kind of all blend together in the pain index for me.
And I think we got to dredge
Uh,
those back up for you. Bring back some good memories.
yeah,
Uh, all right, so moving on, and we'll try not to be political here when we bring this up. But the Ravens cut Justin Tucker. Um,
good riddance.
my opinion, just personal stuff aside, right? He struggled a lot last year on the football field. He missed a lot of uncharacteristic kicks, and just based on the reason I say missed a lot of uncharacteristic kicks is because based on the body of work that he had put together, he was arguably or was the most accurate kicker in football up to that point.
Yeah,
Um, but the Ravens drafted this guy, Tyler Loop, out of Arizona, who I know doesn't have the track record that obviously, hopefully he doesn't, that Justin Tucker has, but
yeah, for
he
real.
did kick quite a few longer, had a few longer converted field goals in college. And maybe they're thinking this is a guy that they can, coach up and really step in and be the new guy. I mean, not every guy gets the chance like, oh, hey, we're going to take you in the 6th round. You got to come in and kick to, make sure you're converting all those extra points for Lamar Jackson's offense.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Cool.
I frankly, I'm glad that they kind of just cut ties with them.
Yep.
Like this seemed like this was going to be a huge distraction. And to be honest with you, I'm glad. Like, you know, yeah, don't be a shitty human. Like
Yeah.
I think that's the moral of the story.
I think it
Like,
is.
don't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Ravens are like we said, the Ravens are moving on from that. So we'll see what's up next for them in terms of how this kicker does. But I imagine what they're looking for is a little bit more continuity at the position and being able to
sure.
have what they had prior to that, where they've got some consistency with being able to convert field goals. They don't need 60 plus all the time, but they need to be able to hit them in through the uprights with consistency.
I think a
Uh,
45-yarder would be nice for
yeah,
them.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, and not missing the ones inside 45 would also help. So next up, Trey Hendrickson. The only update on this really with him is that he came out and announced that they've basically stopped contact, and it just seems like he's kind of disappointed about it. But did you see what JJ Watt wrote up about it?
sure did.
Yeah, but basically just saying like the league is treating the players like it's a business, but when the player turns around and does this, all of a sudden it's like a bad thing
Yeah,
or they're shocked about it. But I
and
don't
the
know.
Bengals are historically a cheap team.
They are. They've tried to change that the last few off seasons, I will say. Like
Yeah,
they've paid some guys, right? They paid Burrow a ton of money. They've paid Chase and Higgins both a lot of money. They let Mixon walk, which it seemed like he still had some gas in the tank.
yeah,
But they haven't. It limits what they're able to do. They also have guys like I think Geno Stone took a pay cut to stay with them. And he's like, with in no uncertain way, he basically said like this money's for Trey, right? Like I'm taking a pay
yeah.
cut so we can keep this guy. I know what he does up front. We need this guy. So there's other guys on the team that are willing to take pay cuts to help him stay. But I'm confused as to what with no dialogue. It's not like, hey, it's the years or it's the guaranteed money. We know it's probably the guaranteed money, but we're
Yeah.
not getting any of those specifics on it. Just that he, at some point, the owner saying he's got to accept something that he could be happy with a lesser number. And it's like, yeah, we all could be happy with a lesser number, but we'd be happier with a bigger number, right?
Right.
I mean, it just is frustrating to see because he's a guy that I don't want to see play somewhere else. I really don't. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't
would
want to.
love, yeah, I'd love a guy like that on the Patriots. I'm just saying.
Hey, stop it! You
Yeah.
stop it right now.
Hey,
You have
no,
guys
I can dream.
you have guys saying that they'll kill for quarterbacks on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know.
Maybe we want a guy that'll kill quarterbacks. Like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
maybe in practice he decides to. Who knows? It just
How dare you?
yeah.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? How dare you with our Lord and Savior Drake May? How dare you?
yeah.
Just because you guys have a quarterback situation that's not great Don't take that out on me.
Listen, it's
Don't.
it's ideal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention is they were talking about Shadur Sanders and basically how he's gonna tell all and show people how bad they messed up by passing on him. So I'm just curious your thoughts on that. If you think that's really gonna happen, or if we're really gonna just be looking at a guy that sits at third on the depth chart for his team.
He's saying all the right things, and like that's kind of what you want out of a quarterback. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I got a chip on my shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you all for not drafting me. I'm gonna go show you what I'm worth, and like that I can do this. So
You,
we'll
you,
see.
you know who I think is going to surprise a lot of people this year, and I think it could
Hmm.
happen sooner than later. Is Jalen Milroe in Seattle? Um,
Yeah, that's. I hope that he doesn't play right away. I really
oh,
don't.
he
But
won't.
like,
It's going to be Darnold, but the fact that he's got some good people to learn from there, and
yeah,
I think he's a guy that is hungry to figure out a way to make things work. So I don't know. Well, I'm real excited for it.
yeah,
And I this pains me to say, but I have to say it because I really feel this way. You guys ended up drafting that running back out of Ohio State, Henderson.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm really excited to see him in a
Me too.
not in a Patriots uniform, but I'm excited to see him in the league and see what he can do. I'm also really excited about the guy that Denver drafted at running back. He is a. I'm just telling you, like, look out this year, man. Look out.
The Giants drafted a running back as well, Cam Scatterbo out
Yeah.
of Arizona State.
I just want to hear
Dude's
his
a
name.
dude's a monster.
Yeah. Say it again.
Cam Scatterbo.
Say it again. Yeah.
I'm probably butchering it, but Scatterbo.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nice. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be awesome to see some of these guys. And they were talking about this being potentially one of the best running back classes coming in. And this is without even talking about Ashton Johnson, right? Like uh
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that guy's a
I wouldn't have
monster.
draft I wouldn't have drafted a running back that high, but again, I there are people much smarter than me making decisions.
Yeah.
So
And one of
yeah.
them is your Lord and Savior, so I'd be very careful what you say next.
Yeah, look, hey, I have no problems with how we drafted this year. I please.
Yeah.
And yeah, also Tom Brady, like I'll never say an ill word about him. I
Yeah.
won't. Like I won't.
So we got some good news, and today actually it's going to be interesting because we're going to post this episode, but then afterwards tonight, your night in America,
Yeah.
is the release of the NFL schedule. So we already have a few that we know about, some fun matchups, and so just kind of curious what you think now. Dallas at Philly is going to be the opener in Week 1.
Love a national game where Dallas can get humiliated early. Love to see that.
uh,
Love to see that.
Can I ask you a question about it though?
Sure.
Are you buying into any of the culture change, them getting George Pickens? Does that sway you at all in terms of what you think is going to happen in this game?
Actually, I think it sways me the other way that the culture is just going to get worse.
Ah, okay.
Like George Pickens is a dude that, like, here's the thing: if you can't get your act together with Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
who are you going to get your act together for? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like
He's
Mike
always had something
Tomlin's a
about
dude.
him.
Mike Tomlin's a dude that people want to run through walls for.
Hmm.
Like the Hard Knocks midseason Hard Knocks last year, he was my favorite part of that show.
Yeah. The
Like,
clips that I saw, he had me pumped up, man. Like that guy,
yeah,
he reminds me a lot
I
of
was like, I want
Jason.
to play for this guy.
He reminds me so much of Jason.
Yeah,
It just I don't know. He's got that vibe. I'll never be able to shake it from my mind.
yeah,
But it just yeah, I don't know, man. Especially the piece with Pickens. Like I think he provides just a dynamic playmaker for Dallas, and he's that guy that's different than CD Lamb, right? Like I think CD Lamb can win any one-on-one ball, and now you got a guy on the other side that can just about do the same and make the acrobatic catch as well. But it's
right,
just George Pickens to me seems like the guy that would rather catch 8 balls for 80 yards and lose the game than catch one ball for 15 yards, not score a touchdown, and his team win. And like
yeah.
that to me is just That's poisonous, man. I don't like that. And I think
Well,
Philly is going to come in there and absolutely destroy Dallas on the
yeah,
opener.
they're gonna house him. Yeah,
Dude, I really think like Saquon is going to be like, okay, now that we got the ring, now let's go and set every possible record we possibly can.
yeah.
Now, I think this offense is going to be very, very good this year. What they haven't lost anything, man. They haven't lost anything.
Um, they I think their defense is a little worse just based on all the guys that they kind of did lose, but
Yeah, I
they
just meant on
but again,
offense they
Howie
haven't, but
Roseman
yeah.
did the classic retool in the draft like he
Yep.
always does.
Mm-hmm.
People still taking trades from him.
Yeah,
Like,
they love when he's calling. They think like I'm gonna be the first to get the over on him. Man, it just never happens.
no.
Um,
No, by the time they're done, they're like, wow, I gave up 6 first round picks for what happened?
yeah, it's he pours honey in your ear, and then all of a sudden you just
The fact that he was able to convince the team that he just beat the shit out of in the Super Bowl to let them trade up one spot above them in the first round, that is some Jedi mind trick to the nth degree.
yeah, yeah.
Like that's like
These
what?
these are like legendary stories that you tell later. You know, when he's sitting like I don't know, Roseman isn't super old, but he's old enough, right? But like those would be the
Yeah.
ones that I'm telling my grandkids about. Like, oh yeah, you won't believe this. After we beat the crap out of them in the Super Bowl, then we I snuck in a little trade just to stick them a little more. You know,
And now we
like
have all pro linebacker.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Speaking of Philly, they're gonna in week 10. You mentioned they're gonna be going to Green Bay for a nice little nighttime Lambeau Winter Bowl,
Yeah.
um, which
Yeah.
that's
Love
gonna be
that.
late November, right?
Yeah, I think it's like middle of November. It's
Uh,
definitely before Thanksgiving.
okay. Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a week or
So
two before Thanksgiving.
yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely cold enough for Lambeau not to be fun, but warm enough for the rest of us to enjoy watching the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that should be an interesting one, and kind of see how Green Bay comes back because they're going to be looking to make some big changes, especially in that wide receiver room. They drafted a few guys that are really going to push some guys in that room, and I think that's a good thing. They got to figure it out at running back, and they grabbed a lineman as well. I think they're going to be okay running the ball this year, but. Let's see how Jordan Love responds because it seemed like he was on an upward trend, and then last year came and got banged up, and
He
then
got paid.
they
Yeah.
never get on track after that, right? It just, I don't
I
know.
yeah.
He doesn't
I,
strike
I'm
me
gonna
as
say
a
this.
guy that because he got paid, he's gonna mail it in, but it just, I don't know. I feel like they could have been much better than they were last year.
I'm gonna say this now. I, when we do our picks in August, like I respectfully, I you could tell me there's a world where Green Bay finishes in last place in that division, and I'd be like, okay, sure,
Yeah, all the teams have gotten much better.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I say much better, but like you look at the past 2 year window that they've had. Chicago didn't really get it done last year, but now I have a lot more faith in
They
them coming this year.
yeah they beefed up that offensive line, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm just worried about their pass blocking ability because both the guys they brought in really aren't great at pass blocking. They're ranked
Yeah,
very
they're good
low.
run blockers.
Yeah.
Yeah, good run blockers, but
We'll have to see. Speaking of Chicago, Chicago's going to be going to Philly in Week 13 for a nice little
ooh,
cold December matchup, and I
yeah,
think that could be have big implications just because at that time, remember, we're basically 3/4 of the way through the season, regular
yeah.
season, that is. But Chicago could be vying for a playoff spot at that point. Philly, I don't know. Like, it could be like teams still looking to try to knock them off, right? Uh,
Yeah,
we'll see what Chicago's made of, and we'll see. Listen, can Ben get it figured out for that team and turn things around? I don't know. And then we've got Denver at Kansas City on Christmas Day. So
yeah, I'm here for that.
yeah,
Like
I like that.
two teams that kind of hate each other. I'm here for it.
Hitting each other hard on Christmas Day. And the interesting thing about that is there's going to be some revenge in that game too because it's not just Denver against Kansas City playing each other twice a year. They brought in a couple big boys from San Francisco that
Sure did.
they know how
Sure did.
much they dislike. They know
Yeah,
how much they dislike the Chiefs.
yeah.
And people are going to
That's
be
already that's already a hard game for them, and now that game for Kansas City, like Mahomes is going to get hit just a little bit harder.
You
most
know,
games.
the interesting thing is, and we'll talk about this as we get into the NFL season, but and make our picks. But I really think teams are going to be coming for Kansas City's throat this year. They saw, and I'm not going to say not every team can sit out there and go through the blueprint because they don't have the personnel that Philly does. But what I
Yeah,
can say is going to happen is teams are going to be looking to put a little bit extra on every single week to try to kick the champs while they're down and really gut that pig.
yeah.
They don't want them recovering from this, and I think it's going to work to Kansas City's advantage, in my opinion. But I I don't know. I think teams are going to really try to come after them hard this year, and I think they're gonna end up rising to the top because of it. I don't know if they win the Super Bowl, but I'll tell you, I think Kansas City will be better for it.
I think so
Um,
too. Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
else you want to mention in football?
No, no, we're it's kind of the dog days right now. Not a lot of football stuff going on. You and I scheming about fantasy football, which
Yeah.
we love to talk about. Yeah, no, can't wait for the weeks of the day where we have all the fantasy football drafts in one day, and
Yep.
I've just spent 8 hours on fantasy football drafts.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yep.
I
Can't
can't
wait
wait.
to sit at my computer all day. I got my whole board up,
Yeah,
my spreadsheets, everything, and we'll be
yeah.
ready to go. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
can't be. I can't wait to be mad because somebody sniped the person I wanted one pick before me.
yep.
I cannot wait for that to
Yeah,
happen.
and then I spend
Cannot wait.
the 2 minute clock that I have to make the pick, or the 1 minute. I spend 59 seconds of that just anger hating that person, right? Like, yeah, it's
Or we anger. We get mad at the one person who couldn't make the draft but didn't set it to auto draft.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, they're gonna get kicked, and we'll make sure we draft Derek Carr for them. So,
yeah, yeah,
Uncle Raj.
yeah. Kick him. Let's just kick him now. Let's get him out of
Listen,
here.
the reason I mentioned him is I'm going to I got to order his book. He told me there's going to be a book.
Yeah.
So
What is this book? This famous book coming out.
yeah.
I'll buy a copy.
Once he watches this episode, could you just drop it down, the title down in the comments below, so we know
Yeah.
what the title of the book's going to be? Because I want to make sure that I get that on pre-order.
Yeah, I want to get that on my Kindle, to be honest with you, so I
Yeah,
can just have it and take it with me wherever I go.
yeah.
Yeah, because I need those nuggets of wisdom to win a fantasy football championship. Oh wait, I did that last year without his book. Oh right, right, forgot about that.
Listen, I'm gonna make sure some way somehow that you two draft right next to each other
I hope
this year.
so. I hope so.
Yeah,
I'll see him this summer. I'll see
yeah,
him. We'll have a talk.
yeah.
We'll
We
have a
will.
talk, him and I.
We'll have a
Yeah, yeah,
beer.
yeah.
We'll have a conversation, and
I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest with you. He and I will probably have more than one beer. I'm gonna be
Okay.
real with you. Yeah,
Listen, it's a
maybe two,
it's a
maybe three, maybe four. I don't know.
it
I
is
don't
a
know.
family establishment. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, listen, we are gonna wrap up for today. But we will be back next week with some more football coverage. We're gonna start getting into breaking down some of these teams and stuff, but hopefully we got some more baseball stuff for you too.
Yeah.
Be able to talk. Maybe Aaron Judge is still hitting over 400 at that point. We will
Yeah,
see.
maybe teams are still pitching to Aaron Judge, and we don't know why.
Yeah. We're gonna have to figure it out. But until then, guys, we're gonna take off.
All right. Hey, I love you.
Love you too,
Stay
bro.
safe.
Peace.
Peace.